going to be reviewing The Descent, a 2005 horror movie. I'm gonna go shut my door. Be back. So yeah, we're gonna be reviewing a 2005 horror movie about a group of girls who decided to go explore these caves that were not yet explored, and basically there were these evolved human monsters that are hunting them down. So yeah, that's basically the premise of the movie. So I guess we can just start with my overall scale of 1 to 10 rating. I would give this movie a solid 7.8. I think this movie is pretty underrated, especially because, this is really, I think one reason is because people don't really go back to this time period for horror movies. But this was actually one of the movies of the time period that it was made in that was actually pretty good. So I definitely recommend this movie. So yeah, let's get into why I liked it and things I liked and things I didn't like, and the video will be finished. So let's go. So the first thing that I will say that I do like about this movie is the clever character relationships and kind of arcs, you could say. Now this movie was cheesy at times. At times with its characters, but of course it's going to be a bit PC because, it's a horror movie. So what do you think? But yeah, I do think that this movie was, even though it was culturally PC, I mean, I thought it was a really a clever way of they did some clever things with the girls' relationships. I thought, with the friends and the dialogue sometimes was clever, even though there were some cliches of the 21st century. But I did think that this movie had some clever character development and clever character roles. I thought that's, I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'll probably spoil a little. But I thought this movie did a good job at not really wasting its characters. Even though maybe its characters weren't the most likable, I thought that it didn't waste its characters. It had its characters, they played a role, and they had their fates, and I thought that was a very, I liked that part of the movie. Second thing I really liked about the movie was, I'm naturally a claustrophobic person, so this is a very claustrophobia based movie, and I like how it's such a real thing in the world, so that's what I liked about it, because this can really happen in real life. This can really go on. You can get trapped in a cave. They were trapped in a cave with these monsters. I think there's much more to the monsters than we think. I'll probably, if I can, maybe get up a short video about the monsters. They're called the crawlers. Hopefully get a video up about them and their, what they are, I guess the biology of the crawlers. So yeah, this is not an in-depth or really in-depth spoiler review. It's just a review. So that's another thing I really liked about it, that it was just so real. And then the next thing I liked about it, I thought that the jump scares were pretty good, man. You wouldn't expect these, you'd expect there, of course, to probably be jump scares, but you wouldn't really expect that they would be great, but surprisingly, they did scare me at times. I guess I should have predicted when they would happen, but actually at times I was surprised when they happened, and then very clever ways of putting in those jump scares, so I thought that was really cool about the movie, and thought it was kind of at times it's just really creepy way of incorporating jump scares, so yeah. Okay, those are the 3 things I did like about the movie. Now let's go to the 3 things I didn't like about the movie. Okay, so I thought that at times it was cheesy, of course. A bit too cheesy. Or I guess you could rephrase it and say it didn't make sense at times. I didn't like how at times it's the story and the plot, it just, characters would make a certain decision or make a certain choice, and you'd just be expecting them to actually get somewhere, but they would really do something for no reason. So there'd be a scene dedicated to just one thing that didn't really even matter, really. So, and I found that a bit irritating. Actually, now that I think about it, I only really have 2 problems with this movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. You know what? I'm actually going to say this movie was a solid 8, actually. Not a 7.8. I would say it's an 8. So yeah, our final review is an 8 for this movie. Okay, so the second thing I didn't like about this movie. Was sometimes I felt it was a bit too unnecessarily gory when it comes to the fighting. I felt but that was kind of fun. The fun part about it is just when some of the characters, of course, spoiler, were killing the creatures and blowing their heads up with their fists. Not really, but I'm exaggerating. But all the gore, I just felt it was a bit too much. And I feel like when you come to these movies, these fast-paced scenes and stuff in this movie, like you have to put a lot of gore, which I liked, but I thought it was a bit over excessive. So yeah, that's the second critique that I have with this movie, and that's really the only two critiques that really stand out to me that I have of this movie. But overall, I thought this movie was a pretty solid movie. I do recommend to go watch it. It's on Peacock right now, streaming on Peacock. Just sign in for free and just watch this movie. It's a free movie on Peacock. I recommend watching it. And movie was made in 2005. So yeah, what do you guys think of this movie if you've seen it? And yes, I do recommend it. I recommend really turning all the lights off when you watch this movie. It of course betters the experience. So I recommend doing that. I think that the cover art for The Descent is actually pretty clever. The girls are like kind of holding each other, and it kind of forms like looks to me like a skull, of course, but that's pretty clever right there. So there is a part 2 to this, which I haven't seen it yet, so if I feel like it and if I really have the urge to, I'll watch it and I'll review it for you guys. It doesn't look as good, but it looks really repetitive to this movie. You'll see why if you watch this movie and you look at the second one. But I've seen the trailer for the second one, and I've watched like 5 minutes of it, but if I feel like it, I'll watch the movie and I'll review it for you guys, and so I hope you guys have a good day, hope you guys like this video, and I recommend watching The Descent.